And hello everybody, welcome back to British Stand. Guys, there's something seriously sinister going on and it's very clear to see. I mean, France, Spain and the UK are certainly not hiding it. Yesterday we did a live stream discussing the sort of raid on Paris offices of Elon Musk, and Elon Musk has responded to those. But at the same time as that actually happening, Ofcom came out and said something about an investigation into X as well. And then following that, around an hour later, Pedro Sanchez came out and outlined his plan for X and social media. Something seriously sinister is going on, and they are all working together. It's very clear to see. Guys, we've got a lot to go through, a lot of footage to go through, including that Pedro Sanchez video. The Pedro Sanchez video, he outlines his plans, and this is what the plans are for the whole of Europe. Elon Musk has responded to it as well, but something weird is happening with Spain. Essentially, of course, step one, naturalize 500,000 illegal migrants to neutralize Spanish voters. And then step two, silence social media companies and silence the Spanish people so they can't complain about it. It's very clear to see what's happening, guys. Let's break it all down. But as always, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more. So firstly, just a little refresh. I'm not going to go through. I'm going to go through Musk's response or X's response. Now, yesterday in the live stream we did in the morning, we did report to you that X offices were raided in France as the UK opened fresh investigations into Grok. Now, the fresh offices of Elon Musk X had been raided by the Paris prosecutor's cybercrime unit as a part of an investigation into suspected offences, including unlawful data extraction and complicity in the possession of child pornography. Yes, that you can get behind, guys. But this is just a guise, so to speak, because no one I've seen has seen any sort of child pornography coming up on X. And this investigation from France actually started back in January 2025 as they went in and said, well, they accused X of having a sort of biased algorithm to sort of right-wing politics and its swaying political view on the social media platform. Now, Elon Musk responded through that in terms of the global government affairs. In terms of X, they responded to what happened in France yesterday. The French judicial authorities raided X's Paris office today in connection with a politicized criminal investigation into an alleged manipulation of algorithms and perpetrated fraudulent data extraction. We are disappointed by this development, but we are not surprised. The Paris Public Prosecutor's Office widely publicized the raid, making clear that today's action was an abusive act of law enforcement theater designed to achieve a legitimate political objectives rather than advance legitimate law enforcement goals rooted in the fair and impartial administration of justice. The Paris Public Prosecutor's Office is plainly attempting to exert pressure on X's senior management in the United States by targeting our French entity and employees who are not the focus of this investigation. The prosecutor's office has ignored the established procedural mechanisms to obtain evidence in compliance with international treaties and X's right to defend itself. These procedural mechanisms are well known and used on a daily basis by judicial authorities around the world. The allegations underlying today's raid are baseless, and X categorically denies any wrongdoing. Today's staged raid reinforces our conviction that the investigation distorts French law, circumvents due process, and endangers free speech. X is committed to defending its fundamental rights and the rights of its users. We will not be intimidated by the actions of the French judicial authorities today. And then, of course, Elon Musk has simply said this is a political attack. And I cannot agree more, especially when more revelations come out, because we're going to get onto the UK in a moment. Pedro Sanchez, the same day, comes out with this speech here as he outlines plans to essentially block X in a way to try and, really regulate social media platforms for their own agenda. Now, this tit, by the way, bypassed Parliament in Spain to legalize 500,000 illegal migrants within Spain. So he did that, a few days ago, just less than a week ago. Now is coming out in an attack on social media company X as well, as he looks to try and silence Spanish people. So again, he gets a royal decree. Again, this move, by the way, to naturalize 500,000 illegal migrants in Spain wasn't passed through Parliament. They got a royal decree to do so. And again, no Spanish person voted for it. Now, step 2 is to try and silence the Spanish people. Let's see what Pedro said. And by the way, there's a massive back and forth currently going on social media with Pedro Sanchez and Elon Musk. Well, Elon Musk is attacking Pedro Sanchez after this video.
Just last week, the owner of X, a migrant himself, used his personal account to amplify disinformation about the sovereign decision by my government, the regularization of 500,000 migrants that live, work, and contribute to the success of our country. The same platform that has allowed its AI grok to generate illegal sexual content. Meanwhile, Instagram has been accused of spying on millions of Android users around the world. Facebook has been used to deploy hundreds of misinformation and foreign interference campaigns during national and regional elections. All these cases are real and fresh and represent just the tip of the iceberg, a small sample of the many crimes and misconducts that are taking place every day on social media. Some may say that if we do not like social media platforms, we can simply leave them, that no one is forced to use X or TikTok. And they're right. For many of us, this is still an option. But we know that our children and many citizens do not have that choice. Social media has become an integral part of their lives, of their reality. So if we want to protect them, there's only one thing we can do: take back control. We need to make sure that these platforms comply with the rules like everybody else. I know that it won't be easy. Social media companies are wealthier and more powerful than many nations, including mine. But their might and power should not scare us, because our determination is greater than their pockets.
So yeah, he's outlined his ideas straight away here. He's now calling for censorship on social media platforms. Essentially, he gave his case study. He literally said, the owner of X was sharing my decision to naturalize 500,000 illegals in the country. Well, if you're so ashamed, why do you care so much that he put a spotlight on it? It was your policy. You decided to do that. So why can't it blow up? Why can't it be there for criticism? Why can't the Spanish people come out and give their own opinion on it? And now he comes out a few days later saying, oh, we need to take back control and censor. No, mate, this is not 2020 anymore. Censorship was already happened. And if you watch Mark Zuckerberg on the Joe Rogan podcast talk about the lengths that these governments, the Democrats, went to silencing people with political views and silencing people that with opinions that they didn't agree with, the evidence of this was actually scary and quite frankly disgusting, an attack on America's First Amendment. But these guys are getting a bit too big for themselves. So on the same day France do that, now we've got Pedro Sanchez here, he's really turning into some tyrant, by the way. And look, Elon Musk came out and said, Dirty Sanchez is a tyrant and a traitor to the people of Spain. He absolutely is. This guy is a tyrant. He is, I mean, his whole agenda is out there for everybody to see. Now, the UK is not exempt of any of this, because on the same day as Pedro came out and as France raided X's office, Ofcom came out and said that they are taking the next steps into its investigation into X and limitation of the UK's Online Safety Act in relation to AI chatbots. They said, we have opened our investigation into X, and we are said to asserting whether we should also investigate XAI as the provider of the standalone Grok service. We continue to demand answers from XAI about the risks it poses. We are examining whether to launch an investigation into its compliance and rules requiring services that publish pornographic material to use highly effective age checks to prevent children from accessing the content. That has already been dealt with, right? The situation that there was an uproar about the bikini stuff is already been dealt with. But they are in their investigation into X. They said, in our investigation to X, we are currently gathering and analyzing evidence to determine whether X has broken the law, including using our formal information gathering powers. The week after we launched our investigation, we sent legally binding information requests to X to make sure that we have the information we need from the company, and further requests continue to be sent. Firms are required by law to respond to all such requests from Ofcom in an accurate, complete, and timely way, and that way we can expect to face fines if they fail to do so. We must give any company we investigate the full opportunity to make representations on our case. If based on the evidence we consider that the company has failed to comply with its legal duties, we will issue a provisional decision setting out our views and the evidence upon which we are relying. The company will then have the opportunity to respond to our findings in full as we required by the Act before we make our final decision. So they're all colluding together. There is no, it's not coincidence that France, Spain, and Britain on the same day are trying to push and launch a political war against Elon Musk's platform X. Because if it was about chatbots, right, that they're using it under the guise of, especially with the UK, then they would be investigating ChatGPT right now. They would be investigating Gemini right now as well. No, it's simply just down to X, and they are all colluding. Now, this comes after as well on the same day that the US Congress name-checked Keir Starmer as it blasts Britain for a copycat censorship laws threatening free speech. Now, if you checked in our video yesterday, we did go through this, but to summarize, essentially, they have raised huge concerns about the Online Safety Act, essentially, again, suppressing people's free speech within inside the United Kingdom, and they're having sort of, a really strict laws in a global effort to censor. They said the US Congress went on to accuse regulators in Britain of using the Online Safety Act to threaten American platforms with regulatory retaliation. And the report even added that Keir Starmer has preferred to go further still and now is threatening to take X offline inside the United Kingdom. And then, of course, they went on to also speak about Graham Linehan, who is appearing as a witness today, I think, in Congress. So we'll be there to give you some reaction on that. But basically, with Graham Linehan, he's gone out there to sort of testify and accuse Keir Starmer of suppressing free speech inside the United Kingdom. But this is a battle between good and bad. We see what's happening. I can see it's freaking clear. All of these left-wing governments colluding together to try and get rid of X. That's what's happening here. And Musk said it himself, this is a political attack on him and his company. If Elon Musk, again, never bought X, we wouldn't know a whole lot of information, especially in our country as well. The whole rape gang situation, the inquiry into that, the uproar that we've seen at the start of last year would have never been brought to light properly if it wasn't for X. And the governments, these left-wing governments, hate it. They hate it. And it's only clear to see what Spain are trying to do here. They're trying to naturalize 500,000 illegal migrants, to neutralize Spanish voters. Then step 2 is silence the Spanish people. Now we can see this copycat method happening in France and the United Kingdom. It's no coincidence. This is really, really frightening times. And I hope Elon Musk can fight back to these tyrannical left-wing governments that are colluding together here, because the remit is clear on what they're trying to do. But yes, guys, let's get into the live chat. What do you make of all of this information that we've went through here today? Do let me know. Let's see what people are saying in the live chat. Appreciate everybody that does tune into these live streams. You really do make the community. So a big shout out, and a big shout out to our members as well. So yeah, thank you so much. Lloyd says, say mate, really dig your channel. Thank you so much for your kind words. What do you make of this though? What do you make of what's happening in Europe? And do you see the picture clearly with Spain, France, and the UK? And do you think they're colluding together? Because I certainly do. Has Keir ever done anything to benefit the British people? I don't think so, mate. I don't think so. America will continue to fight for free speech. They absolutely are, and they will do. But at the same time, I mean, I don't think these European governments have the power. But what they can do is try and bring off the platform within their country. And we're starting to see them tiptoe around the idea of doing so. They're trying to latch onto an excuse to do so. Now, I haven't known too much about Spanish politics until about last week. But that's something that's going on in Spain right now is seriously scary. This Pedro Sanchez bloke, whatever he's doing in Spain doesn't seem right. And it's right on point that he is a tyrannical dictator by the looks of things. That's the point, says Lee. Lee says, so when X was Twitter, which was more leaning to the left, everything was fine. That's the point. They don't like it. The thing is, actually, no. So one of the investigations that's going into France is that what France are accusing X of doing is essentially manipulating the algorithm in a way that pushes more right-wing politics to its users. But I don't think that's the case. I just think that they were used to Twitter suppressing right-wing political views. Facebook definitely was. Mark Zuckerberg came out, hands up, and said, yes, the Democrats were telling us that we needed to suppress people's views that were on the right of politics, that were pro-Trump. That was fact. And if you don't believe me, check Mark Zuckerberg saying out himself to Joe Rogan about it. So when everything was skewed in their way, there was no problems whatsoever. And now they're blaming the algorithm for manipulating it. No, I don't think it is. I think the algorithm is working perfectly fine. I just think the viewpoints are more popular, and due to the algorithm actually working the right way, the posts are going more viral because more people actually agree with those points. That's the thing here. Because I know it's working well, because yes, my X algorithm is more skewed to the people that I follow, which are more on the right side of politics. But when I see a throbber now and then, and I click, Keir Starmer's post to read his things and read through some of the comments and click the profile to actually see that there is Labour voters out there, all of a sudden, when I refresh my algorithm on my homepage, I'm starting to get weird liberal, far left viewpoints come up on my home feed. So the algorithm is working well. There's nothing wrong with the algorithm because I'm not into left-wing politics and all these left-wing opinions come my way. So the algorithm's working perfectly fine. It's just the popularity is more on the right side of politics, and they are afraid because people are waking up to the left-wing agenda, and that's why they want to silence it. And I can see what Pedro's trying to do. Naturalize 500,000 illegals to neutralize the Spanish voters and then try and silence them on social media so they can keep this left-wing experiment carrying on in Spain. And that's what they're trying to do. It's the same playbook that the Democrats tried to do. It's simple. KSM says, the people will rise. Any government tries to silence them. This will go tits up for any governance. Exactly. Thank God for Elon Musk, by the way. Thank God, because he's going to keep on pushing. Skinny Lad Jason says, I hope they understand there are far worse AI generators out there, unmoderated, for example, because that's the point. It's not about X. It's not about the chatbot. If it was about the chatbot, they would be investigating all AI chatbots across the board. It's simply after X. They're using any way, which guys that they can to try and go after X. It's been very clear from the start. They are terrified Musk. They will do anything to oust him. Everybody loved Elon Musk. Everybody adored him when he was, he didn't give his political view. He was seen as the smartest, most amazing man in all of the world. The guy there to save humanity. The guy doing more for the green agenda than anybody else with the developments coming through with Tesla. And then all of a sudden, he starts to give his political view. He endorses Donald Trump. And then all of a sudden, yes, then the attack comes. Elon's crazy. Elon's dumb. Elon's deluded. Elon's this. No, he's not. He's the smart, probably I would go as far to say, one of the smartest people in all of the world. And of course, certainly is the richest man in the world. And they're so pissed off that he's on the other side of politics. He's on the right side of politics, and he's continuing to push for freedom of speech. You know, he's not going to go down. He's also, Elon Musk also created the state of play that we're currently living in now. On YouTube, Facebook, all of these other social media platforms, there's an ability to speak and give your opinions. This is due to Musk for calling it out. They were pressured to follow X's sort of path. And then, of course, Donald Trump coming into power opened up free speech even more. And they can't stand it. The European governments can't stand it because they're still operated by far left governments. And we know what the remit is for socialism. We know what the remit is of communist dictators and what they try to do. Dirty Sanchez, yeah. I've never heard too much about him until yesterday, and he's an interesting man, let's put it that way. A really scary man. I think Putin is richer than him. Yeah, but I mean, if you're talking about, I suppose like Putin is, but people will look at Putin's wealth as being a country's wealth, which it shouldn't be the right way to determine your actual wealth, I suppose. Elon Musk is more of a business perspective, right? But Forbes recognizes Musk to be the richest. On paper, there's no comparison. What would Putin be getting as a wage as the Russian president? You know, it's not going to be that much on paper. But obviously, we know that's not his only only income stream. Sorry, I got something here. I sent a good point there from somebody. Everything on my feed is skewed left, so I don't know what they're on about. Yeah, well, with X, it's to be fair, X is an interesting one because when you do scroll on something, it will start to give you more. Like when I was, for argument's sake, the algorithm works fine. France are just getting desperate. Like it was transfer deadline day 2 days ago, right? A lot of my X feed is full of, you know, American politics, British politics and whatnot. And then when I went on to like researching a bit of Rangers transfer news and, you know, other transfer news on deadline day, my whole feed was full of football after that. So it is working fine. Just more people are more interested in right side of politics than the left. The left are the loudest voices in the room, as you're seeing from, you know, in America right now. But bearing in mind, majority of America do support what ICE is doing. But what you're seeing is this loudest voices in the room opposing what ICE are doing in the United States. They don't speak for the majority of America. That's the reality, but it seems that way when the algorithm and the loudest voices are shouting out about it. Americans support ICE. Skinny Lad Jason, thank you so much for being a member, guys. Thank you. Thanks for our members here on the channel. Actually, for the members, we are going to be doing something for the members very soon. Maybe like a weekly live stream, a little bit more chilled, where we just freaking go through news. I can just more relax and go through things. Is something I want to give back to you guys for supporting. So yeah, thank you for becoming members, and we'll sort out a weekly live stream or something like that very, very soon. So yeah, thank you so much for your support. Barcelona don't even want holiday makers, and now they have 5,000 naturalized men. Try 500,000. Not 5,000, 500,000, up to 800,000. Oh, another member. Thank you so much, Rangers Rule. Great football team, of course, as well. Thank you for becoming a member. Thank you for your support as well, my man. Thank you very much. Yes, let's have a little look at certain things. Yeah, it's a busy day today. I've got quite the agenda, actually. So we've got PMQs in literally around an hour and a half or an hour or so. So PMQs is on next. Obviously, hopefully, we're going to be hearing a lot about this Mandelson cover-up. Keir Starmer trying to be the good guy. Apparently, he's going to be publishing files to say why he was appointed as the US ambassador. So we'll be getting into that. That's going to be an interesting one in PMQs today. There's also Graham Linehan at some point today in the United States. He is going to be testifying in the Congress against or acting as a witness. I'm not sure if it's testifying, but acting as a witness and speaking about, the suppression of free speech in the UK. So that's also a very interesting one as well. We'll come on to cover that. And then there's a few other bits and pieces that may emerge. But guys, thank you so much. We are back live streaming whenever we can. I prefer doing the live streams because it's more interactive. And yeah, we can get a lot more covered than just the standalone video. But thank you for tuning in for this morning's live stream. Do let me know your thoughts on Pedro Sanchez, Macron, and Keir Starmer all colluding to go after Elon Musk's platform X down there in the comments. Thank you to the 2 members that had just joined us. I'll give you another shout out again. That's Skinny Lad Jason and, of course, Rangers Rule. Thank you so much for your generosity, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.